Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you see me?
No. There
Hey,
we go. It's a little better.
a little better.
Yeah, that's funny. I somebody sent me a text, and I always wonder. One of my clients sent me, "Hey, what's your favorite brand?" And I'm like, "Of like cigars, vehicles, like baseball teams." Like t-shirts, sweat, like
A lot of options there.
I'm just like, huh? So I'm sure I love this client. Their personality is over the top straightforward. So
Okay.
it's like, yeah. So I'm like, all right, where are you headed? So
Where did they end up going?
I don't know. They literally,
Oh, you're still figuring it out.
yeah, I got it as you were logging on. That was the comment, and I'm like, of, and that was where I left it. So
All right.
I like your very nice t-shirt, by the way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well played, my friend. Very well played. On brand, literally and figuratively.
This is the first Gallagher swag, if you will, that I own because
Seriously.
I'm actually doing a volunteer. This is the shirt for the volunteer event tomorrow at
Nice.
LCA with Special Olympics.
Oh, sweet, dude. That's awesome.
So I had to come into the office to do some work and snag it and maybe get a puffy, you know, man, what is it, Massachusetts, the financial people that always wear the vests.
Oh, no,
I feel
no,
like
no.
it's a Boston thing.
It might be because I'm thinking like, really, what's the brand? Or what's the it's is it Mass Mutual? No, it can't be. Who
Probably.
I don't know. I mean,
I feel like
Mass,
anybody that I know from Boston, like anybody from the East Coast, always has like the long sleeve. They're in finance and they're wearing a puffy vest.
really?
Yeah,
Oh my
I used
God.
to work with finance and CPAs that are all East Coast, like Delaware, New Jersey, and every one of them is like, so you guys are all like the Brads and Chads.
Dude, I'm gonna be such a smartass here. I'm like, you're too young to have a career like this. It's fascinating. Like here's on the East Coast. Here I was with ADP. Was with, Gallagher, and like I love this shit. Like
Yeah.
it's cool, dude.
If it makes you
So,
feel any better, my hip is about as old as you just made me feel. So, no, I'm not even kidding. Not to waste time, but I went to a robotic physical therapy place yesterday. It's
dude,
in, it's in Troy, and they have
okay.
this like hydraulic robotic arm that will put pressure into the designated area, almost like an acupressure,
Yeah,
and it like increases, decreases, and has like pulsate like massage, and it's like you're just under this robotic arm pinched on the table for like an hour because it's supposed to like lengthen and loosen the muscle fibers that are pulling the imbalance.
really.
Super weird, but it was cool.
Well, two things.
Helps.
Well, what have you done throughout the years to provide that for your body to have to, I mean, what
I
athletics endeavors?
herniated a disc because in college, I had a guy take my legs out, landed flat on my back for like fast break layup on my back. Hospital said you herniated the disc. Don't do anything for 6 to 8 weeks. It's actually an interesting story because it's how I ended up meeting my wife, and so it's like every time my back flares up, it's like, oh, it's for love. um, but it's chronic. It's one of those things where you sit forever in a chair in a car and you're traveling all the time, and it's just the hip flexor muscle is getting pulled forward, which puts a strain on the sciatic nerve and the piriformis. It's a whole
No, no, no,
complexity.
no, no. It's not uncommon for runners, and I haven't been running recently, but Matt, my colleague Stevens, who this is, and I always tease him and others. I might be 5'7" and a quarter, but the fact is that I find myself like not having some of these issues because of me being, what do they call it? Height challenged. I don't, seriously, sciatic nerves, like back problems, knee issues, a lot of his has to do with like some misalignment,
Yeah.
and
No, it's
so it happens all the time with him. It's gotten better, but
he
it's a
should.
whole series of things.
Not to be plugging it in, but he should check out this place in Troy. It's obviously not covered by insurance kind of thing, but it's like $150 for an hour.
Send it to me.
And yeah, I'll send it to you. But yeah, I mean, I've noticed the difference just in a day where it's still sore and it's still there, but it's noticeably different where I'm not having a dagger down my hamstring
Yeah,
24/7.
yeah.
So
All right. No, and do you have the what is it, the orthopedic
there we go.
yeah.
Or the
Yeah,
Hypervolt.
that's my visual. What's that?
Yeah, the Hypervolt. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good way to start my SHRM session. Yeah.
Hey, anything I
Recording.
could do to ease the tension, Ryan. That's how I work.
Well played. Well played on the tension and massage gun.
No, I went back, I was looking, I'm like, all right, so questions, and because here's the thing too. I think with Sandler, how I always push to have people go in the opposite direction, because a lot of resource partners, they get on here and they want to talk about their stuff, and that's great. Okay. However, there we go. I want you, and it's the same thing I said to Allison earlier, is I want you to differentiate yourself by allowing them to think about the things that they're missing. All right.
Mhm.
And that's why I formulated it when you asked me that question. All right, here are the questions, or at least some of them I'd love to ask. And
Yep.
on top of it, if you've got any for me, and I'm erasing my whiteboard, because if there's some that you want me to, I'm happy to throw them at you.
I tell people all the time I'm the worst salesman ever because I'm not a seller.
No, that's good. That's good.
So no, I'm here as a guest of yours, happy to answer questions, have dialogue. I've honestly never done a podcast before, so it's kind of like, ooh, this is fun.
Okay, so that's awesome. So I'm a lousy host, so that'll be easy.
This
It'll
will be the
take
best
all the
one ever.
pressure off. Typically, just so you know, what we'll do, I'll do an intro and an outro where I will, introduce the show, introduce you. What title do you want me to use for you, Ryan?
Just employee benefits consultant, EB consultant for short, if you want to shorten it down.
I like to, hold on. I'll tell you in a second once I get back. Um, what I was going to say was, I mean, here's an example that I put in my calendar the other day on how bad HR is with acronyms.
Oh,
Every company and corporation and industry is bad with it, but I wrote down my SHRM VLBM RP event. I'm like,
I, I wouldn't have known what that was unless you had mentioned and spelled it out.
and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then that was on my calendar, and I'm just like, okay, this right here signifies why we got to cut through the BS in the acronyms. So yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple things I wrote down. I'm going to use the questions I shot you. And part of it is just that um, I'm in it all the time with clients, because so many people, they don't even know, like, how do I say it? Like, for instance, with um, the oh shoot, I'm trying to think of the CARE Act that everybody calls Obamacare, but there's the actual bill.
Oh,
What's it called?
Affordable Care Act, ACA.
Affordable Care Act. Thank you, ACA. That's always what I'm. So it's the acronym.
Another acronym.
So everyone goes and says, they think about, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to get the best deal, or I'm going to Obamacare, and this. And I'm like, okay, stop. Let's back up. All right, let's understand what benefits really are and why they're important. All right, you see it as an expense until you need it,
Yeah.
and therein lies the problem. And so I want, just from your standpoint, I want people to start looking at this differently, not just from the HR perspectives, but as leaders' perspectives. They talk about retention, and we talked about this before, but the reality is that their practice doesn't necessarily, they look at it as an expense. And how much does it take to bring on a new person and then find another new person after that person leaves, because you don't have the benefits to keep them?
Yep.
So that's kind of the dialogue I want to be able to have today.
Cool.
Um, and that's going to be my focus. Um, so I'll bring you on. I may at a certain point throughout say again, this is employee benefits consultant Ryan Page with Gallagher. Is that how you just as Gallagher? Is it
Yeah, that's fine.
okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm probably
Um,
gonna be the worst guest you've ever had, just because
nah, because it's
I'm so
really
low key, dude.
no, it's great because all my job is this is to ask questions, you answer, and I get out of the way. That's really what it's about.
See, that's
And
usually my job, so this will be fun.
I know it's a pivot, and I've been on podcasts before too, and it's weird to be
Yeah.
able to, I'm asking questions, I'm trying to find out. Now the script is flipped, and so
Mhm.
I'll need you to just think about it. And you can engage, you can flip it back at me. I'm okay with that, but it typically will then respond with another reverse. All right. So back at you with the question. So, and then what I'll do here in a second, bring you in. We'll talk for anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes. That's kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
I'll give you a chance to give your contact information, however, people can reach out to you. Um, I'm trying to think what else, and then I'll do an outro, and then we'll pause, and that'll be it. It's pretty
Sounds good.
painless. All
I'm
right.
not worried about it, man. I'm just
Yeah.
excited to do it with you.
No, this is cool, man. I dig it. I'm excited too. So, without further ado, we'll do it on a 3, 2, 1 count, and then we'll jump in. All right.
So put the middle fingers and guns down, okay?
I love it. This is gonna be fun, man. This is gonna be fun. I love it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for being here again today. I'm Greg Coyne, your host for the My Sherm podcast. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome a good friend of mine and guest today. He is an employee benefits consultant from Gallagher, and it's Ryan Page. Ryan, thanks again for joining me here.
Thanks for having me. We should have kept it with the acronym EB consultant.
Oh, and so all of our guests know I'm tired of in the world in whatever industry you're in, all of the acronyms that are just flown around and everyone knows them, they don't. All right. So I was trying to avoid complete and utter dismemberment by our viewers here with all the acronyms. But that being said, I want to jump right into our conversation because prior to we started talking about benefits, and I think a lot of people just when they hear the word benefits or they hear benefits consultant, a lot of times people shut down. So I think one of the biggest things that I want to find out today is why should HR professionals and leaders in general just look at benefits differently? What are some things that they should be thinking about?
Yeah, no, a great question. And that's oftentimes it's an annual renewal where they look at it maybe once a year. Or if they have high claims and all of a sudden people pay attention a little bit more when there's a bad year. Um, but it's not just the second or third highest line item for a company. It is expensive typically for a company, but it's also a good way to attract good talent. It's a recruiting mechanism. It is a retention tool. It is a differentiator between your competitors in the industry. So it's more than just an offering to employees. It's obviously changed a lot over the years as well. So it's not just medical, dental, vision anymore. There's way more beyond that. Um, so it's a good mechanism to building a good culture and a long term employee base.
I like that. And there's a couple words in there that I want to jump on, and that's this. A lot of times that is, unless they're looking at it or they've had some runs in terms of benefits, most people, leaders, HR professionals look at benefits as a cost, as an expense, instead of an attraction tool. So, what are some things that they should be looking at and even considering as part of bringing in more of the right type of employee to their business?
You mean like what other offerings and kind of resources?
Yeah, because I don't think people think about this as an attraction tool enough.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I mean, it's depending on the workforce you're engaging with. The We had the big what was it called? The stay at home COVID. I forget what that was called, where it was everybody was just kind of transitioning jobs.
Mhm.
The Great Resignation. There we go.
There we go. I knew
And
I was gonna guide you. I knew you'd come up with it.
I had to think about it. It's like a Friday for me in my head. Um, yeah, we had the Great Resignation, right? Everybody changed. Everybody looked at different options, and I think the work from home remote capability for work shifted a lot of people's mindsets in regard to what's important to them in the workplace. And having a healthy work-life balance is part of it, but also having companies that care enough about their employees is also a good piece of it. That being said, depending on the space you're in, whether it's tech, manufacturing, food and beverage, you're catering to different employee bases. So you might have a group that is a lot of what I'll call elder millennials like myself, where we're in our 30s. It's kind of like the prime of your career. You've got emerging people in their graduating years, and then you've got your emerged employees that are focused on financial wellness. So that's even a piece of it. Is it's not just your baseline anymore. It's how do you attract people that are just stepping into the insurance world? Once you turn 26 and you get off of your parents' plans, assuming they keep you that long, you have to understand what is important to you as a young uh, professional. You want to be able to have coverage for yourself, whether you're having a family. Life changes, priorities change a lot as you go through the phases. And again, as you get older, you have financial planning and wellness, and health typically declines as you get older. So understanding things like an HSA account, like a savings account for your future. Um, so there's a ton of different tools and resources and options out there. There's lifestyle spending accounts that are, another way for employers to contribute to their employees' benefit without the employees even putting anything into it. There's the pre-tax HSA saving vehicle. There's pet insurance now. A big thing, especially since COVID, is mental health.
Yes.
So having virtual healthcare, mental health awareness, first of all, and then also doing something about it. There's a lot of good third-party vendors out there that are providing that service. And I believe I saw a statistic the other day that was roughly 82% of the millennial workforce suffers from some form of mental, I don't want to say mental disease, but mental suffering
Yeah.
and connected to that. But a very small percentage of employers are actually doing anything about it, um, which is typically where you'll see again employees shifting their focus to employers that offer these things. So it's that attraction retention tool to cultivate a good culture to be a part of.
And part of it too is that, how do I say this? Um, I want to touch on that part a little bit more too, and it has to do with I love the term elder millennial because you are significantly younger than me, my friend. So I appreciate that. But the fact is, we're technically different generations. I'm a Gen Xer, you're a millennial, and a lot of times, I would say, boomers or people myself in the Gen X range, we don't always look at millennials in the brightest light, though we should. And the fact of the matter is this, that I think it's by 2025, so another year or so, 75% of the workforce will be millennials. And I love that statistic because I think it freaks people out. But the fact is real. All right. And every day, 10,000 baby boomers leaving the workforce. All right. And so if we're not looking at benefits now as an attraction tool, we're missing out. So you gave some really good examples, but let's focus too on what you and others at Gallagher in the benefits world have maybe seen with millennials that really have you've used that benefit tool as an attraction piece and what millennials are thinking about from that standpoint.
Yeah, just like what's important to them, you mean, or
Yeah,
like what we're seeing in the marketplace?
yeah,
Yeah, like I said, so for example, my big focus, especially in the Mid Michigan region, it's a blue collar community. It's manufacturing, and it is that older population that is phasing out. And
yep,
there's a big gap between the workforce coming in and the workforce going out. And so, these local companies want to keep the talent local and attract people locally instead of outsourcing it. But there's also large organizations that are putting up plants and facilities up there as well, and they're the big brother, or not big brother, what am I trying to say, the big corporations, there we go, big corporations that are moving into the the community and replacing or taking jobs. It's like, well, okay, what are we going to do to attract the right talent to your company instead of going to this one? Because they're going to pay pretty well. And so that's the big, the argument that a lot of employers are facing is, well, we can increase our minimum wage or hourly wage by $1, $1.50. Let's increase the wages. That's the Band-Aid on cancer, so to speak. It's not going to fix it. It's just alleviating a bigger problem that's going to cause more issues down the line. So, well, I think a lot of employers are focused on compensation. That's important to keep up with inflation and all the other pieces. You have to look at the holistic total comp, is the easy way I'd put it. So,
Yeah.
if you look at a total comp report for an employee and seeing how much they actually earn based on what an employer gives them and provides for them or pays for them, it's an eye-opening experience for these employees. So I think for them to have that understanding and awareness and education, first of all, is huge. Because a lot of companies are honestly doing good things. The employees
Yeah.
just don't know they even exist, or what benefit that exists to them. So I think education is key for a lot of our millennial workforce. A long way to answer your question. Like I said, the mental health piece, the physical wellness. I think our generation is one that's very aware of nutrition, wellness. So being able to provide, whether it's a gym discount or a lifestyle spending account, again, to go purchase workout equipment, tennis shoes. I mean, just little tiny things like that that go a long way for people. I think Google and Amazon are probably some of the, especially Google, were the companies that first came into the scene as far as differentiating the workplace and drawing in the young talent, like the ping pong tables and the coffee shops, and that's all fun. But I think that kind of has faded now, and a lot of people see through it. Um, so now it's a matter of providing tangible, realistic benefits to these people to again allow them to have that work-life balance and overall just wellness.
And I'm gonna interject too, because I know you'll never say anything about it, but like with the shirt being on, and I asked Ryan prior to, so it's a matter of bridging the gap between your personal and your professional life in order to have them cross. And what I mean by that is having the ability to give back to other organizations outside of their own. And Ryan's going to volunteer for Special Olympics tomorrow. And one of the things that we do is we give back through Gift of Life. That's a passionate nonprofit that we have, as well as the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And we're a small organization. I mean, we're not large by any stretch with Sandler by Jerry Weinberg and Associates. But the fact is that that is an avenue that people want to see. They want to know that we're giving back. So to your point, you might have a smaller business, but if you're not having that open dialogue to be able to give back and have that ability for millennials and Gen Zs to see that and want to be a part of it, you might be doing yourself a disservice.
Absolutely. No, I think the more transparent employers can be with the employees and get rid of that perceived gap and connection is huge.
So I'm gonna leave you with this, and it's going to be an odd way to leave us, but I think you and others are going to have to battle, and we talk about it now with what is it, salary transparency, and a lot of
Mhm.
people are a little hesitant about that. And to me, I couldn't care less because here's why. I'm in a business where you've got to produce, and if you don't produce, it doesn't matter. So there's a balance in sales. So for me to give that up and let people see it, I'm okay with that. But I think that there is a mentality out there where we talk about money, no one really likes to do it because we are told, growing up, hey, we don't talk about money. It's impolite to ask. There are people where they've been blessed either by parents who didn't have that mentality or own their own business typically. And that's typically where it comes to play. Am I off base by saying that? Or
No, it's pretty accurate.
yeah, I mean, so if we can, as a culture, get past that hurdle, I think that's gonna even compound in a positive way, getting us to talk about benefits and seeing the actual positive things that can come to light with them.
Absolutely.
So
Um,
again, folks, I'll say it this way: EBC, or EB consultant, Ryan Page from Gallagher. I really appreciate you taking time out today. I hope that the HR professionals that are watching, the leaders in organizations that are watching, were able to take some really good nuggets away and start using them in terms of their business. And if they'd love to contact you, find out a little bit more about what you do and how you can help them, how can they contact you, Ryan?
Facebook is Ryan Robert. There's an easy personal way. Professionally, cell phone is 810-347-8432. Text, call is the easy way. Email is Ryan, RYAN, _ page, like a page in a book, PAGE, at AJG.com.
Awesome. Ryan, thanks so much for being on today. I really appreciate your time.
I appreciate it, Greg. Thanks, man.
Hey, you're welcome. And thank you all for watching. Again, I'm Greg Coyne with Sandler by Jerry Weinberg and Associates. Thanks for watching the MySherm podcast. And until next time, have a great one, everybody. Take care. All right, that's it.
Just waiting for the smile to go.
I know. I can only hold it so long, man. I can only hold it so long. And
That's fun.
see, it's not, there's not much to it. It's just a matter of, I think for next time, it's focus it even more. Like what are some things you're seeing more and more in the, and you'll see this from the Mid-Michigan people as you get more opportunities to sit down with them. There's things that you'll hear. In our world, it's always stuff like inability to forecast properly, having a lot of things that aren't closing. Top of funnel is great. Bottom of funnel is like the Sahara Desert, or there's all sorts of things. In your world, you're going to hear it too. Hey, I'm looking at an expense. Hey, I can't attract people. Oh, I've had these same benefits for X amount of years. Hey, my benefits consultant's taking me for granted. Whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's, we just had a renewal meeting today with one of the Ford dealerships over in Macomb, and they actually had a flat renewal, which doesn't happen. Yeah, well, it's because they are self-funded. They have Blues, but they are self-funded, carved out on their RX.
Really?
So Blue Cross, if you have their prescription drug coverage through Blues, like fully insured, it's very expensive. And the GLP-1s, all the Ozempics and weight loss drugs over the years, they've been taking massive bleeding out of their butt. Yeah.
No, I've seen all of the articles that speak to that.
Yeah, and so they're making up for it in huge increases. So this particular account, we carved out their RX spend, and it's self-funded. That was a couple years ago through a PBM and pharmacy benefit manager. There you go.
Thank you. I was going to ask. I'm like, all right, I'll ask.
So they actually, over the years, they essentially, you're taking the risk, right? Like anything self-funded, you're taking on the risk of that. But because they just ran a good ship for the most part, they, I think, saved on average year over year, $200,000 to $300,000.
Whoa.
And again, the CFO was like, so where's that money at? It's like, no. This is like realized savings where you didn't spend it. He's like, oh, that makes sense. But still, it's like,
CFOs, baby. You gotta love them.
Oh yeah, show me the numbers. But I mean, that's stuff like that where it's like everybody's trying to figure out how to get their prescriptions lower. It's like, well, you can carve it out and look at this and this and this. But so with Blues, if you're with the Blues, again, this is stuff you don't really care about. But
no, I do actually. There's reasons, and I'll tell you later.
If you're with the Blues for their pharmacy right now, if you try to carve it out because they're screwing you, they actually charge you per employee, Peplum style, per employee to leave.
Are you serious?
And in some cases, it's more cost effective to do that. But it's the handcuffs of, well, you don't want to just throw away a couple $100,000, do you?
So basically, they're penalizing people because all these great drugs have come out. People have used them. They got beat by it, and now they're forcing people in, and they're gonna see. This pisses me off. This is why I love the people that work for Blues, but I hate the mentality of it because the fact is it's a nonprofit. Yeah, and you are not there to make money.
Yep, just like the doctors don't write scripts and get a kickback. Yep. No, it's a corrupt society, and so that's again where it's fun to be on this side of the table because it's like you get to help enlighten people, educate people, and it's like you have everything in front of you.
Yeah.
You get to make the educated decision. Um, so it's yeah, I don't know. That's why I like doing what I'm doing because you actually get to help companies do good things and people actually put money back into their pockets. And I mean, yeah, there's I mean so much more we could have talked about, but it's just I was trying to keep it high level.
No, and I'll say this from, and that's on me too. I'll say get in the weeds because you'll get it next time. I want to help you. You are going to build a brand. It's part of who you are. It's just getting stuff underneath your wings, so to speak. You've got the background with Mid Michigan. You know how to connect and network. Now it's just a matter of, okay, I need the benefits experience, and you'll only cut your teeth by winning some and losing some.
Yeah. Oh, and that's Gallagher. Gallagher's so cool to where they, the like regional guy today. He's like, "Hey, you got 30 seconds? Yeah, what's up?" It's like, oh, I was talking to Kim and some other guys, and we want to meet on Monday to talk about giving you some clients, existing clients, so that way you can start to see it from both sides and run your own clients and prospect and run clients. Like that's cool. And many brokers don't do that.
No, no,
No.
because it's the eat or be eaten type philosophy.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
there's people here that are of that mentality too, but it's far and few between.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
just it's a
no,
weird spot to be in.
what I was gonna say is that it's most of those people have moved on. Um,
It will be in the next 5 years.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, here's the thing. At the end of the day, Matt and I cut our teeth on commission only. All right.
Mhm.
If we brought somebody else in, we would never do that. We'd want to pay them, and then have an opportunity to, make commission. Because well, I guess the people cutting this will hopefully, but we've had what, like 22 associates over the years, and Matt and I have lasted the longest. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, I don't know if it's always something to be proud of, but because sometimes we're like, what?
No, I mean I
So
believe it. I feel like people in your industry, it's like it's not typical to see people that last the test of time, so to speak.
no, it's not for the faint of heart. And I tell anybody that gets in it, I said, look you are getting yourself a sales job, and you need to recognize that. I had somebody, I don't know if I told you this. I had a neighbor who's getting their MBA, and they wanted to get into consulting. I said, okay. I said, that's what you do, right? I go, yes. And understand you're hiring yourself as a sales to have a sales job. You are an owner now, and you have to understand that. If you don't, you're gonna get killed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's I don't want to paint like some. I don't want to paint a rosy picture, but I don't want to paint some like devastation picture either. I want to be real.
No, I
So
mean it's the same in I think that's the big turnover in benefits is that they typically offer you a decent salary for 3 to 4 years, and people usually see that as the segue to be like, oh, I got to buy myself more time. But what they don't realize and what's happening at a competitor I will not mention because this is still recorded, um, they're kind of clawing back on that contract and saying, hey, you have until 3 months from now to hit a number or sell it or you're done. It's like, well, I had a 3-year agreement. It's like, yeah, but you didn't perform.
yeah,
So
yeah, and
I get it.
there's going to be some real change that's going to have to take place, and it is taking place. I mean, we see it all the time on how people are going to be compensated, and it's going to be fun in that sense because the winners will continue to win, and some that aren't will either self-select out or they'll figure out maybe a client success or something else where their their personality and what they do is great, but they shouldn't be in sales. And I think those are going to be key.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, quite honestly, yeah, if I could make really, really good money being a client executive or account executive, I would do it. The money's
Yeah,
in sales, and that's because you're putting in all the sweat equity.
you are. And this is part of the excitement, man. So I'm excited that one, we reconnected. Two, that you're getting on the show.
Appreciate
Three,
that.
I think I got another person for the event. So
Well done.
yeah, so we'll see. I'm hoping when I go into the drive, I see a whole bunch of people that you guys added, because Jeff made me nervous that he wasn't adding people. So
I haven't seen anybody besides your Triterra group, Bamberger, I'm assuming was you,
yeah,
and maybe one other one. So I actually called Andrew earlier to kind of get a head count update. I need to add people to the list. It's just a matter of I haven't gotten a confirmation yet. So I know
I've been
they're
pushing
there.
hard because I'm like, no, I want to confirm. If you can't go, I don't want to put you down. So
Yeah.
I've been pushing hard on setting real strong expectations up front.
Oh, no, it's good. Because yeah, I'm trying to get two, three. There's probably 3 or 4 people up in that region that 90%. So I just need to get the confirmation. But I'm so aware of who's hosting, and I'm trying to get the right people because the right people for me aren't necessarily the right people for everybody. Um, so
Do your
try
best.
to, try to
That's
work
what
the
I
angle
would
in.
say. Do your best, because what I do know is, um, who is it? The Three Rivers. Is that you or Jeff?
Well,
Okay.
both, I guess.
Okay. So here's the cool thing about it. It's why I invited Triterra, and they're doing some business with them, and
Mhm.
they've been looking to expand in that area. And you'll get to meet Dave and Don, who are two of the partners. Don's the visionary and managing partner. They run EOS. So I wanted to make sure that, Andrew knew that. Most of my clients run EOS. That's why I'm like, I would love to help Andrew out in that mid-Michigan area, because I'd love to expand up there. Um, there's always winners that come with that.
Mhm.
We'll see what happens, but they know Three Rivers, and that was one of the things Dave said. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll put in a good word for you too." And Gasberry's going to be there, so the VP of sales and one of their head salespeople will be
Okay.
there. They're one of my clients. Shelving Plus Rack Systems is going to be there. They're based out of Pontiac.
Okay.
The VP
Well,
of sales.
cool.
What's that?
Coming up from down here, that's cool.
Yeah, and look at, like, they're all over the state, and my whole big thing was I want you guys to I want to give back to them, and I want it to be a real strong networking opportunity.
Mhm.
And these are people that have networks, both here in the state and beyond, and can really get to know one another in a relaxed environment. And that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I probably should expand my geographic because I've been trying to keep it in a half-hour radius because everybody has an excuse if it's more than a half hour.
Well, here's the thing, push
So
hard,
interesting.
because that's what I did. And with Ben and Eric, I tried to, because they're in Livonia and Ann Arbor. I'm in Plymouth. I'm going up. So I'm like, okay, if you want a carpool, I'm fine with that. Because I'm
Right.
going up, the drive makes sense. And so I filtered my day to accommodate.
Okay.
So
No, that's cool. Yeah, because Chris from Three Rivers actually, I didn't realize that he was a former EOS implementer in another life.
really,
Yeah, so he's already aware of it. He's pushing for it, and again, on a recorded line, they're not operating as they should, and he's aware of that. And it's a matter of certain people getting out of the way eventually.
yeah, yeah,
But there's a lot of good stuff that is coming down the line for Chris and Three Rivers. I will leave it at that.
cool. I like
Um,
hearing that. And there'll be a lot of opportunities with all of that. So I'm very excited. We'll continue to plan. I'll add Eric here later today to the list. You get in there to add some of yours, and I'll push on you guys to add. And
yeah, no, I'm definitely going to build it up. I hate showing up to dot events because I've hosted them and it's embarrassing.
no, been there, done that. Got the t-shirt,
So,
man. Don't want
no,
it.
I'm going to be actually at a manufacturing, the one that I met, Chris, the Central Michigan Manufacturers Association, what I told you about.
Yes,
They're hosting a tour tomorrow at Avalon and Tahoe.
really.
Which, if you want to go, you can try to register still. It's tomorrow at like 5 or 5:30. It's in Elma.
Oh, that might be tricky. But do me a favor. Actually, though, I can see if I can try to. I'm gonna give it a shot. This is what I'll have you do. Can you send me the info? Can you send me the link for it?
No, I'm just
Uh,
going to tell you about it and let you figure it out.
Smart ass. No, send it, and what I can do is I can start, putting it together. And I'm sure, because I'm a non-member, there'll be an investment. I'm okay with that.
I don't know that I'll have to look, but I'm pretty sure it was open to the public.
Okay.
I will find the invite and send it to you, but I'm pretty sure it's open because it's Avalon and Tahoe and Aludyne, a die and cast company.
Okay.
they're doing like it's like a block party tour style. So I think it's like open bar or cash bar maybe with tours of the facilities. I mean, Avalon Top, if you're familiar with them, they build pontoon boats, like luxury pontoon boats, and they're actually already a Gallagher client technically because we acquired Meadowbrook and Meadowbrook services them. So
That's right. I forgot about that. I used to have an ex that worked for Meadowbrook, and so
okay.
I always see like how they've done or where they've gone, and I forgot Gallagher did that a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we're still in transition of like full inclusiveness of it with Salesforce databases, all that. But yeah, I just there's a guy that's up in Saginaw that he's like, oh yeah, that's actually our client. I was like, oh, good to know because I was prospecting.
That's awesome too. I love
But
it, man.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I'll get to that because there's a lot of good people that'll be there tomorrow. It's not obviously a sales environment to like sell, but it's just easy networking, and there's a lot of good people there.
yeah.
And Chris might be there. Actually, he just texted me. Let me see if he's going to be there because I could actually connect you with him.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be funny.
He's planning to.
Okay.
So Chris will be there. Alyssa from MMA. Do you know Alyssa Olson from MMA?
From Marsh McClellan?
No, sorry, yeah, MMA.
Oh, oh no, from Michigan Manufacturers. I know the name because I get the emails.
Okay,
Uh, and Joe probably knows her because I know that Joe's
probably.
pretty involved with Michigan Manufacturers Association.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so she's going to be there tomorrow too. There's going to be a lot of good people there.
Okay. No, I appreciate it. And what time did you say?
5 or 5:30 to 8.
5:30 to 8? I got a shot then. The reason I say it like that is because um, I've got a 3 to 4 meeting. That's the tricky part.
Hmm.
So
Is it
um,
something you could do virtually?
it is virtual, but I can't be driving to do it. It's a proposal. So
Oh,
that's
yeah. I didn't know if you had time before that to get up there prior.
let me see. No,
I'm
because
gonna be coming straight from this thing at LCA, and then we're interviewing another nanny at like 2 really quick, and I'm going right out to Alma. Dude, it's the dad life, man.
dude, oh, yeah, that is hilarious, man. That's hilarious. I'm like, nope. Although puppy dad life will include me cutting you off, asking for the email, and then taking Abby for a walk. So I feel you.
That's it. Yeah, it's all good. I was gonna say she's probably itching to get out, so
Oh, I don't know if you saw her in the darkness, but she was looking at you and I, and it's like, let's go.
that's good. Yeah. Now, before I pee on the rug, I get it, man. Cool.
All
Well,
right.
thanks again, Brett. I appreciate it. It was fun. And I'll
Yeah,
get you that invite right after this.
yeah, done, man. And good luck with the nanny tomorrow.
Thanks.
See you
See you,
later,
man.
Ryan. Bye.